welcome to another broadcast. Sorry, I started off just a little bit late. Just getting today's stuff off of me so that I can just fully engage in what we're going to be talking about today. It's going to be a great broadcast. It's going to be a full one. So, it's one thing about our broadcast is you don't have to just sit up here and be looking at my mug the whole time. You could just have the audio playing, be going about your business. Think of it as a podcast because that's exactly what it is. So yeah, we do have some videos that I will be clips and stuff I'll be showing, but for the most part, just listen, sit back and listen and engage. If you choose to do that, you could just engage by engaging either in the real-time chat that we got going on right now at the time of this broadcast, or you could continue the conversation in the comment section below. All right. So if this is your first time, welcome. So glad that you guys are here. Today, we're going to be talking about quite a few things here. We're going to get into, I got some really nice, I want to start off positive. I came across, there's a school that I don't know too much about, but they are on TikTok. And man, it's just really good to see our youth doing something, especially with their hands, that doesn't involve a phone, and so can't wait to show you that. So we're going to look at that first. We're going to look at this. We've been told that the reason why black folks, migrated out west was simply because they just wanted to get away from, the post-civil war fallout that was taking place in the South and all of that stuff. But I think there was a little more to it, okay? I personally think, but we're just going to throw it out there and see and tell me what you think about that, okay? So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to mention briefly about just the change that I have been going through. This, we call this, journey. This is our journey, Samba journeys. We're definitely on a journey here, and you guys those have been following us for a good minute. I've definitely been on one from Christianity to the Hebrew stuff, and then now far away from that, and just really questioning a lot of things. And I do see that it does resonate with at least some of y'all. So we're just going to circle back on that just really quick here, because there's something that I had did a couple of videos on, and I think I'm starting to understand the question I was raising in that. Again, when I'm talking, I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to myself too. So it's like an open conversation. So we're going to circle back on that. Is Jamal Bryant, is he the poster child of the black community? Well, I think so. And we're just going to look at it and you'll see for yourself why I believe that. He just keeps coming up. I mean, I don't know why, but he just keeps coming up. There is a video I want to show you of some church folks. I told you the two main people that we see in the church today are the feminist black women, right? Feminist black women, and 92%, and gay men. Well, we're going to see how these two groups have gotten together and came into a whole lot of money by defrauding. And this hit local news, and it's just a wow. It's a big wow. So when you see this video, you're just going to shake your head, man. I was just like, wow, this is something else. Let's see. We're going to look at, as you know, there's this big call for a boycott of Asian businesses and all of that. For those of us that are old enough, we've been around this over and over and over again. And this is why it just so amazes me to see people my age that are still going around this merry-go-round over and over again. Well, there's something I want to show you. I don't know if some of y'all remember this. You might not. I kind of think pretty much all of y'all probably never even seen it. But this is something I want to share with you. It's another video clip that it's very eye-opening on that topic. So we're going to look at that. And then last but not least, yes, we're going to look at the Carmelo Anthony stuff and then, all the other related stuff that we raised in our community page this week. So as you can see, we have a full broadcast. So what we're going to do now is let's give people time to get on. Let's get some music going for the next about minute or so. And the name of this one is called African Violet. This is one I wrote and some time ago, and I just took the lyrics and put it in AI, and AI added the music for me. So anyway, there you go. So let's give it you guys about a minute. Welcome aboard, and we're gonna jump right into it.
They took me from my window, put me under neon lights, said grow the same, don't ask why, in somebody else's climate. Told me bloom wherever planted, but they never changed the soil. Still I learned to bend towards something. Still I learned to save my joy. I grew quiet, I grew careful, learned to drink just what I need. But don't confuse my adaptation for the limit of my seed. I ain't broken, I ain't small, I'm just listening to the room. I was built for gentle waters, not the pressure of this gloom. Hey, I'm an African violet, I don't bloom just anywhere. I don't beg the sun to love me, I need balance in the air. I'm an African violet, still alive, still standing tall. If I haven't reached my glory, that don't mean there's none at all. They keep measuring my petals, by the ruler of the storm. Wonder why I don't grow reckless, in a place that hates me.
All right, another 20 seconds and then we'll start.
I learned patience, I learned silence, I learned power, don't need noise. I don't waste my energy trying to impress a void. Every leaf a declaration, every root a quiet plan. I am not what you allow me, I'm more than where I stand. I can feel another climate calling softly through my veins. I don't curse the place I'm in, but I won't confuse it with my name. I'm an African violet, I don't bloom just anywhere. I don't break myself for survival, I require love and care. I'm an African violet, still restrained but still complete. I don't shrink to fit the system, I remember who I be. They say, why you so sensitive?
Hey.
I say you're so sensitive. I say that's how I survive. That's how I survive. They say, why you need conditions?
All right.
I say that's how I stay alive.
All right, welcome aboard. Today is June the 7th, 2026. June the 7th, 2026. 100 degrees. 100 degrees here in the great sunny state of Arizona. 100 degrees. So we finally hit it. We actually had a lot of cloud cover today, so it was more on a quote unquote cooler side. But yeah, the sun finally said, I'm going to win this one. And so we are at 100 degrees right now. And yep, got my full quotient of sun today. And I'm going to always start. You know what I'm going to ask you? Did you go outside and get your sun today? Did you do your breathing exercises today? Did you get out and walk? Get some fresh air? All right. Come on now. Make sure we're doing that, okay? That melanin is begging you to do it. Them LED lights ain't for your skin. All right? Then you don't need to be doing that, okay? That they're okay, but we don't need to be just 100% thinking we getting something from LED lights. You ain't getting jack, okay? They're not. So you don't need that. So anyway, like I said, again, this is a big broadcast. So we got a lot we're going to be covering. So if you're like, oh, just get to the point, just get to the point. Well, this ain't the broadcast for you, okay? I already said at the top of the broadcast, all the things we're going to be covering. We're going to take our time with each and every one of them. And if I can get the energy, I've been hoping I could get the energy, I will put some chapters in it to make it easier for you to get from one section to another, okay? So we're going to try to do that, but yeah, so I'm just letting you know ahead of time, okay? But yeah, so good to have you guys here. For those that are either in the chat or those that are coming, or maybe you're just one of them silent ones that just like to sit in the back and just listen, that's okay too. There's a seat for everybody. Welcome, all right? So as we are jumping into it, you know what we got to do? We got to give a big shout out to our sponsor, which is Samba Tree, sambatree.com. That is our store website. We don't just talk about the news here. We don't just point out the problems. We're here also to provide some solutions, real solutions. And we know that especially in this day and age, you have to prioritize your health, all right? And that's your bodily health, your mental health, because there is nowhere in the world you can do all these breakdowns, and everybody now is a lawyer now with this whole Carmelo Anthony thing, and everybody's just launching in, and everybody wants to be the judge now. Everybody wants to be a member of the jury and all of that stuff. But you cannot process things like that if you are in an unhealthy state, especially mentally. And we'll talk about that. We're going to get into it. One of the things we take very seriously here is teeth. And I have my wife here. She's going to actually point out something that just dropped. My wife does many things. And one of the things she is an author. So she just put together a wonderful book that she's going to tell you. If it's on Samba Tree right now, sambatree.com, right? They can go get it. So without further ado, you're gonna just talk, right? Or you gonna sit down? What you want me to do?
If you bring it up, I'll
All right, so let's see. Where do I go? Oh, you want me to go to the... Okay, all right. Hold on for just a second. Let me get my situation here situated. And and let's go ahead and get that up here. So this is that. So what do you want me to do? Mm-hmm. Okay, let me see, because I'm using a different broadcast program here. So I gotta, it's okay, but it'll still come up. Let me see. Let's see. Give me just a moment, you guys. I'm getting it up on the screen. There you go.
All right, it's up.
It's up, and then now I'm gonna get it on the screen here. Let's see, window capture.
It doesn't allow you.
There you go.
Okay. Does it allow you to leave the person up there as well, or no?
I have to make it smaller.
No, just leave it. Leave it like it is.
You sure?
No. Go, yeah, leave it like this. Yeah.
All right.
You can make it maybe a little larger. That's the max.
I'll try.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
All right.
That's good.
Okay. All right. I'll have to. What we doing? Okay, so you go ahead, talk. Okay, go ahead. Oh, okay. All right.
Hey. Listen. This is I'm super excited about this book, y'all. I'm so excited about it. This guide is amazing. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day, by the way. I should start with that. But I'm just so excited. I'm so excited about this guide. So, whole mouth medicine. Am I moving it here or am I moving it there?
You're gonna move it here. You are not. You're gonna move it over here. You are not to touch anything in this.
He said not to touch. This man in his tech. 1 second, y'all.
Just all you gotta do is scroll that.
Okay, got it. Right, we're here, right? Right here.
Stay there.
Okay, got it. All right, sorry, y'all. We are using a new system here today. So, whole mouth medicine. This is the brand new guide that we just dropped on sambatree.com. Ancestral oral healing from Africa, the Caribbean, and beyond. This book is amazing. Okay, so I'm not going to take you obviously through the whole book because that's why it's on the website, but I want to move over. I want to show you what you're getting in this guide. So 8 chapters, all right, 8 chapters. You are getting 7 tooth powder recipes, 7 herbal toothpaste, 4 botanical mouthwashes, 4 oil pulling recipes, 7 herbal rinses, 58 plants and documented ingredients for your oral care. It is amazing. All right, so let me show you here. The Oral Care Apothecary. This is giving you your guide to the herbs in this book, okay? I'm not going to go through all of them, but the toothbrush tree and bitter leaf and myrrh and frankincense. I mean, just a ton of herbs that maybe you have never worked with before, okay? You're also getting the recipes and formulas, okay? Recipes and formulas. I know I'm like, you're getting a little whiplash, right? Because it's a large guide. All right, recipes and formulas. So you're going to have your tooth powders, the daily, the gum healer, the whitener, the deep clean. I mean, this stuff is amazing. The mineralizer, okay? The African apothecary, giving you miswak powder, myrrh powder, neem powder. Do you see what I'm saying? This is not just mix some baking soda with some coconut oil type of stuff, okay? All right. Herbal toothpastes, okay? And then you can mix and match your bases, colloidal silver base, vegetable glycerin base, coconut oil base, okay? It really allows you to build these formulas to heal your mouth, okay? Not just, whiten the teeth, but really get in there and heal. If you have gum issues, if you have gum pockets, if you have periodontal issues, all right? If you have halitosis, you got bad breath, if you have bacterial buildup, I'm talking about like really getting in there and addressing these issues. It is awesome. All right. Toothpaste. And you're talking, this is from someone who I have thousands. Like I'm going to go back and add, but I mean between $20,000 and $30,000 of work in my mouth because I wanted to get all of the mercury out of my mouth. I wanted to, I just had a lot of stuff, right, that needed to be fixed, all right, from childhood. And then you've got mouthwashes, all right, rinses and oil pulls, the daily pull, the infection fighter. Okay, amazing, amazing. All right, now what we're going to do is I want to show you this. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. I'm going to do a quick video on this, but will you look at this? Ancient habits, modern mouths. So the chewing stick, which was the first toothbrush, the original toothbrush, very interesting that our bodies remembered the habit. How many uncles, fathers, grandfathers do you remember that sat on the porch with the toothpick in their mouth, okay? And then do the swirl around thing as they talked to you and gave you advice, all right? Where did that come from? My dad stayed with a toothpick in his mouth. Where did it come from? It's very interesting. That memory, that muscle memory, that body memory, remembered what the ears never heard, right? Very interesting. So we get into that here. And then as we close this up real quick, because I can't give everything away, we go into the different sticks, chewing sticks, where they come from, different areas. We get into the indigenous oral care traditions of the Americas, right? Because the indigenous population across the Americas, listen, it was across the world from Africa, but the same intelligence in terms of knowing the land and knowing that the body needed to benefit from the land. All right, so we go into some of those different herbs that the indigenous population used. Then we finally, chapter 7 and 8, you're going to go into the meridian chart and what your teeth really could be telling you about your organs. And we finish up the guide with biologic dentistry. And this is what I mean. If you want to get the mercury out of your mouth, which is a neurotoxin, there is something called the SMART protocol for how you get that mercury out of your mouth. All right, with your biologic dentist, and also, anyway, biocompatible fillings. What can you use instead? So yeah, this, and there's a bunch of appendixes and other herbs. But I will simply say, I'm gonna take this off. Dwayne, you could take this off really quickly if you want. But I will say that this guide it's beyond a guide. I mean, it is an amazing resource. That's why I say it's something that you want to keep for your children, pass down, your children, your grandchildren. It's something you definitely want to keep for them. And then also, what was I thinking when I priced this at $19.99 and then put it on sale for $14.99? Am I literally out of my mind or what? Like, yeah, this is easily an $80, $79 guide, like easy. So while I am, before I come back to my senses, I would suggest you do what you know to do and go jump on it. Okay. Love y'all. I'm gonna go get some rest because I'm tired. I've been working.
All right. So there you go. Make sure you check that out again on the website, on our website, which is sambatree.com, sambatree.com. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Thank you, Nicole, and I know people are really going to enjoy it. I know I already was going through it, and that chart at the bottom, at the back, I need to look at that and match my toofuses with whatever's going on. So make sure you check that out again. It's at sambatree.com. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the news here, and let's see. I want to start off with this video that I came across. I thought was really cool. Let me see. It's here. I'm gonna bring it up here shortly. Let me see. There you go. It's a really cool video, and it's some young people at this school. I don't know where this school is located at all, but it's called. Oh, they're in Wilmington. It's Youth Woodworking Program, Building Skills Futures since 1994 in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's kidsmakingit.org. Let me see if I can pull this up here on the screen for you. Let me see. Is this it? There you go. All right. So I'm just going to play a few of these videos here, and I found it to be quite encouraging and great to see it. So I'll just play a couple of them for you. If I can get the audio, there you go.
I'm in the 9th grade. Here, I have another product I made. This is a casserole dish carrier. If you want to see the casserole, it. Okay. These are dowels. You can move them up or down depending on the size of the casserole and how tight you want it to be on it. Under it, these are the feet. So when you place it down, it won't be wobbling or it won't be moving. Also, these are the handles. I have the handles on here so you won't have your hands too close to the dish because the dish is most likely going to be hot when you use it. And also, you can find this and more at Kids Making It on Castle Street. Thank you.
Oh, so they make stuff and I guess they sell it.
My name is Mike. I'm a rising senior at Ashley High School, and I've been going to Kids Making It for the past 4 years. And these are some of the things I've made. I got these wine stoppers here, these pens. Me personally though, this is my favorite wine stopper here. And this is me personally, my favorite pen. And these would be good Father's Day gifts. And you can get here more at Kids Making It on Castle Street. Thank you.
There you go. And then let me see. Let's see what she got. I can't play the audio. It's gonna, hold on. Yeah, they're gonna get me on that audio. Let's see. It's a shame. Wow, look at that. So apparently they have a whole like woodworking wood shop there that seems like it's pretty popular. You know, you got kids who are really interested in that. You know, that's good to see.
Hey, it's me again, BB. These are all the stuff I made. 2 pens, 6 clipboards, a cookbook holder, and a plant holder. And
that plant holder though.
All located at Kids Making It on Castle Street. It's open Monday through Friday. And come on down to here and buy stuff. And, yeah.
Anyway, it's right here. If you're on TikTok, go check them out. This is their account right here, and go give them a follow. Go check them out. And it sounds like if you want to buy some of their stuff, you could. I know I'm going to take a look at it and see, because you know, I really love wood furniture, wood pieces, and things like that. And so yeah, that was just one of those things I saw on TikTok this week. I thought was really cool, and I said, man, I like to share that with the people. You know, there's a lot of other things going on that's in the negative or whatever, but you know, definitely want to remind people. We always try to remind people that there are a lot of positive. Not everybody is in the crazy world that we're gonna talk about, okay? But anyway, so let's go ahead and get into it. You know, this week I was thinking about you know, the Great Migration. You know, when you study, when we have, you know, in school they taught us that the Great Migration, you know, what was going on was that, you know, right after the Civil War, you had black folks that were kind of like, hey, we're just going to stay here in the Southeast because this is what we know, and we're just comfortable here, and we're just going to stay here. Then you had other black folks who said, well, no, I'm getting up out of here. I'm going to break up out of here. I'm just want to get away from this, and I want to discover something new where we're just starting from scratch and all of that stuff. So you had two groups of black folks who basically divided, right? And we are told that, right? But I also, when I started thinking about it, I said, you know, there were also, I think there was somewhat of a battle of mindsets there, because, you know, people who migrated, who left, you know, the Southeast, you know, they had a mindset where they just wanted to start completely from scratch. They didn't want to hold anything from the past. They knew that, well, you know, my mom was here, my father was here, my great grandparents, my grandparents, so forth and so on. Everything I know is here. So they got used to the familiarity, you know. But there's some people out there that just are tired of the familiar, and they want to start something new. And so what that does is that it creates an agitation. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I don't, you know, I'm not saying that there were people fight. Now, I don't believe that. I looked to see if there was anything that serious, and I couldn't find anything that serious. I think it just from what I could see, it was just a matter of, you know, somewhat of, hey, for some people, it was just time for them to part ways. You know, some of these people, they left folks behind. And the migration, as you know, it was going into the Midwest, into the far West. You even had numbers of black folks who migrated into Mexico. You had some black folks going up into Canada. They wanted something new. They wanted something different, even at the point of dividing or separating themselves from what they saw was community, what they defined as community up to that point. And then I was also thinking about how, you know, what happened. I was talking to my wife about this earlier, and I was just saying how when you think of, and I think I've actually talked about this in the last video, I'm not sure. But anyway, when we think of culture, right? let's take, for example, let's start with European culture. Europeans, for the most part, we just think of everybody's white, right? But that's not entirely true, because especially when you go to like Spain or, some parts of Italy or whatever, the skin complexion it varies, right? But for the most part, they're white, right? And so anyway, they did not. So even though they're all white, when you read about European culture, they didn't really identify themselves. You have the overall overarching thing that we call European culture, right? But then you got subsets, right? And the subsets are, you're going to have the Italians, you got your Greeks, you got your people from Spain, you got your people from Portugal, you got your people in Britain, you got, all of that. Those are your subsets. And each one of them have their own unique culture, right? So they didn't really identify themselves by skin color. They identified themselves just by their little subsets, right? Well, the same thing is in Africa, in the continent of Africa. We have this overarching thing that we call African culture, right? But when you go into Africa, just because you have dark skin, it doesn't mean that the moment you land in Africa, they're like, oh, welcome, brother, welcome. No, it doesn't really work that way. The first thing they want to know is, what tribe are you from? They're listening to your voice. They're listening to the words that you're using. And then by a series of their quick on the spot and analysis of who you are, then they categorize you based off of that. You know what I'm saying? And so, so that's pretty much how culture and community works, And so, when I was, but what happened to us here in the Americas, particularly here in the United States, is that even though we were part of that, our ancestors were from those various cultures that were over there, right? And so what happened was, they were forced into a world where all those cultures had to disappear. And now you're only identified by skin color. When you think about all these other cultures I just mentioned, skin color really isn't the main identifier. It's the other stuff, right? And like I just talked about Africans, just like I talked about Europeans. They don't, and I remember hearing this one person from Africa. They said that when they came to the United States, it was when they discovered that they were black. Being black in Africa is really like, yeah, and you know what I mean? Because everybody, for the most part, has darker skin. Of course, you go up into the northern part of the continent, skin gets lighter or whatever. But for the most part, people have darker skin. But they don't really identify themselves like that. It's here in the United States, when we were brought over here, that's when we were identified by skin color. Now, the reason why I'm taking the time to go through this is because that has actually done a lot of damage. And what we're actually seeing now today is people starting to respond to that and starting to realize, yeah, that was a big mistake. That's why you're seeing a lot of Black Americans now who are going through this thing where they're saying, hey, listen, we have to delineate ourselves from people who are first generation, second generation, whatever, coming from Africa or the Caribbean or whatever. We are a unique group of people, right? Which is true. And so that's what you're seeing, that push-pull. That's actually very natural. And so for us to still but the system wants us all to think that we are one big family. And that's not true. That's not true. And that's been a very damaging thing, because what we've told ourselves is, you know what? We all we got at the end of the day. Who's we? Who's we? We never really stopped to ask that. We all we got. Who is we? Well, that hasn't really worked out too well, has it? Because even within what we call Black American culture or Black American community, there's so much infighting and stuff that's going on there, because we base our community, if you will, off of skin color, right? There's a video clip that I want to play for you. This is from Claude Anderson. I mentioned that in the post that I did earlier today, but I thought it was
Hi,
a
my name's
very
Adrian.
good. Sorry
I'm
about that. Sorry about that. Let me get that up here. Now this is a video clip that someone you know, they got their face in on there too. So, but just listen to it. You know, it's you know what he's saying. That's what's important.
Right now, we do not have not one single black community in America. All you got are black neighborhoods. A neighborhood is where you eat and sleep. A hotel is a neighborhood. And in some of these neighborhoods, it's gotten so bad now, they're not even neighborhoods anymore. Crime has gotten so high, they ran a neighbor out. All you got left is a hood. That's why they call it the hood. Nothing left in there. They don't have any communities. A community must have three elements. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can produce jobs, services, goods, products, and resources for your own people. Two, the second thing you must have in there, you must have a code of conduct, saying this is how we're going to behave. Here's how we're going to love and support each other, appreciate them, care about them, protect them. And lastly, you must have politicians elected to office who will represent you first and foremost. You don't put black folk in public office that will look out for everybody else before they look out for you. If you don't have those three things, you don't have a community. Right now, we do not have not one single black community in America. All you got are black neighborhoods. A neighborhood is where you eat and sleep. A hotel is a neighborhood. And in some of these neighborhoods, it's gotten so bad now, they're not even neighborhoods anymore. Crime has gotten so high, they ran a neighbor out. All you got left is a hood. That's why they call it the hood. Nothing left in there. They don't have any communities. A community must have three elements. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can produce jobs, services, goods, products, and resources for your own people. Two, the second thing you must have in there, you must have a code of conduct, saying this is how we're going to behave. Here's how we're going to love and support each other, appreciate them, care about them, protect them. And lastly, you must have politicians elected to office who will represent you first and foremost. You don't put black folk in public office that will look out for everybody else before they look out for you. If you don't have those three things, you don't have a community.
I mean, what he said was actually just really right on. I mean, just right on everything he said there. You know, code of conduct. I've done videos on that. Just, you know, when you measure a community, you know, again, I always say you can't spell community without the word unity. And that's really what I've been really trying to challenge viewers on that. You know, when you consider yourself part of a community, what you're saying is you are unified with this community, but unified based on what? What are you unified on? So we've been opening up the hood and looking at the details of the things that this thing that we call community has actually been rallying around, and really challenging you as the viewer and asking yourself, is this something that you're unified with? Are you unified that? And so having a code of conduct, that's something that's going to be an overarching theme as we go on with this broadcast. Does what we call the black community have a code of conduct? Well, we're going to look into that. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Okay, we're going to get into that. Anyway, moving on, and I'm moving today. So is another thought that's kind of passed my mind today was the, you know, just kind of sitting back and thinking about this platform, this channel, and, you know, how it's just really an open book, you know, for myself, my wife, and the journey that we've been on, you know, coming out of Christianity. We've fully documented all of that. And you can just go back into our playlist. We have videos all lined up, and people are like, well, what happened? I don't know. You just sound different. Go to the playlist, okay? Just go through the playlist. We have everything documented. And every time we start thinking about stuff and then putting it out there and saying, what do you think? And all that stuff, we got all of that, you know. So you guys who've been with us for a while, you've seen that. You've journeyed with us on that. You know, so we deconstructed through the Christianity thing. Then we got into the Hebrew Israelite thing, and it was the same thing. That was fine. We've discovered some things that, like I said, again, the one thing I could say that I really got out of the Hebrew Israelite thing, like same thing with Christianity, it's not all trash to me. There were some lessons that I learned that I'm still benefiting from. Same thing with the Hebrew Israelite thing. I'm learning from that, you know, and one of the things I learned out of the Hebrew Israelite movement was the importance of studying, researching, really digging deep. And the problem that I encountered with that is that I must have dug too deep, because some of the questions I was coming up with, some of the things I was discovering, well, it was making a lot of people, it was making me uncomfortable first, because I was like, wait a minute, I can't be this ain't matching to actual history. You know what I mean? And then when I started going public and really putting it out there, Well, you had some people that had some problems with that too, but you also had some people that saying, you know what? I'm glad you're saying that because I've been thinking about that as well, you know? So we went through that. But now I'm in a place right now where I feel like I am deconstructing from what we call the Black community. That's where I feel right now. And I'm going to get more into that, you know, a little bit. We've kind of been touching on that just over the last whatever. Every now and then I talk about that. But when I say that, I'm not saying that I don't identify with the color of my skin. Okay. Like I'm laughing because my wife told me about, there is a trend. Now I hope you're sitting down. There is a trend going on right now. You can look it up if you want, of Black women who are tanning themselves. You heard me right. There are Black women out here. It is a trend where I'm talking with my skin complexion. That's when I ain't talking about people who got very light skin. I'm talking Black folks who have my skin complexion, who are putting on suntan stuff to and get like what white women do. That's going to be a whole video in of itself. I already bookmarked some stuff and I just like, wow, you know, so I don't know even why I brought that up, but, but anyway, what was I saying about that deconstructing Christianity, the Black community, deconstructing from the Black community? I think that's where I was going. I am not saying that I am trying to deny my skin color. I love my melanin. I love the hair that I have left, right? I love that. I love the history that is attached to this skin color. I'm not trying to run from it. I'm not trying to deny it. In fact, I fight for it all the time. And I'm always fighting against those who want to add AI stuff to try to make up their alternative reality origin stories and stuff like that, that they came from Atlantis and all of this other nonsense, you know, and deny that, you know, we had anything to do with Africa and all this stuff. And I'm like, y'all, it's all there. And so if anything, I am fighting for it. What I am saying when I say deconstructing from what we call the Black community is exactly what Dr. Claude Anderson was just touching on. And that second point he brought up was code of conduct. That should be a very important thing when we talk about what we call the Black community, or any community for that matter. There's got to be a central code of conduct. And usually there is. And once you open a hood and you actually look at what is acceptable, what is protected, what is promoted, once you look at that, you have to step back as a human being and ask yourself, is this something that aligns with who I want to be? Is this something that I want my children to emulate? Those are the real questions that we don't ask. Instead, we always default to, we got. No, the hell we don't. Because I'm not aligning myself with individuals that do not have or have a code of conduct that isn't something that aligns with me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I really love peace. I love a peaceful environment. I don't like going somewhere and being loud and all of this other stuff, right? I ain't trying to, you know, I'll bounce in, bounce out. That's it. I love a very peaceful environment. Well, there's some people that believe that they are entitled to be the direct opposite. And I don't necessarily believe that. There's other things too. So those are the things where it's very important to me. And what I am telling you is that it's okay. Don't let people try to trip you up and make you think that, oh, you Uncle Tom, you selling out. I'm not saying I want to be white. I'm saying I want to be me. You understand what I'm saying? I could be me, embrace those parts that, like I said, again, I'm very proud of. But at the same time, I can also draw a line and say, no, I'm not aligning with that foolishness. That's not what I want to align with. And when you take that stance, you're going to find that you're going to lose a lot of friends. there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to understand because they are so used to you being categorized as being black. And all you black people, you think this way. All you black people support this. All you black people is that. And it's like, no. It's okay to have a nuance, opinions, and viewpoints on different things. It's okay to embrace that. When you look at other cultures, it's the same thing. Like I said, again, when you look at African culture, they have all types of variables and things like that. When you go to Europe, same thing. But we as black Americans, what I'm saying is it should be no different. It's okay. But then it's also okay to say, hey, this BS here, I am not aligning myself with that. I do not approve of that message. Do not put my name on that or the legacy of my family attached to that. No, we're not. And no, I do not. I no longer buy into this mindset that we got. Because that's not, because when we say that, you're including people who have mental illness. You're including people who hate themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're including people that want to kill you. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just talking in your family. You understand what I'm saying? So it's, of course, it's not all bad. You got all black folks ain't like that. But what I'm saying is, don't limit yourself to just that. Like you just are shackled to a culture that doesn't align with your own personal values. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the point I'm trying to make. And unfortunately, a lot of people miss that. Right? So anyway, so I just find it very interesting that this journey that I'm on, or that some of you may be on as well, that I'm finding myself deconstructing, if you will, from a culture that I've always told that no matter what, you got to stand by it. No matter what, you got to embrace it. No matter what, you got to protect it. And what I'm doing now is I'm allowing myself to say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Some of this stuff is straight up BS. I'm not going to protect that. I'm not going to stand with that. You understand what I'm saying? And it doesn't make me less of an individual to stand that or to say that, So anyway, I just wanted to say that there. But anyway, let's move on here. Speaking of which, Jamal Bryant, your favorite preacher in the world. I'm just playing. But this dude just keeps coming up. I don't know why. But I was thinking the other day, I said, this dude, he literally is the poster child, if you will, of what we call the black community. And what I meant by that is I was trying to see if I had a video. Oh, yeah, this is him here. Let me play this video of him. This is Jamal Bryant here. And now he recently had the woman who who called herself a doctor, but, the internet's really been dragging her because she really isn't and all of that. But he knew that. He already knew when he invited that woman onto his show, he knew what this woman was about. But now all of a sudden the internet is lighting her behind up. Now all of a sudden he's coming from behind and acting like he's taking a stance against that or whatever. And how dare she says that and all this other stuff, right? So let me play this video. This is him. Let me bring this up on the screen here, and I'll play this video here for you. And this is him, I believe, talking about, this is his stance.
This uncredentialed, uncertified professional, I yielded my platform to. And right here, I want to show you this clip about discipline on taking a bathtub that would not be in any way sanctioned by a licensed therapist, psychologist, a pastor, or even a Christian. Watch this.
I want to go further because people are going to be like, okay, doc, that's cool. That's all the surface stuff. Taking a bath together. No sex. Because you both have what the Bible says marriage requires, discipline. to take a bath together
Hey.
and have a conversation. A little triggered over there? A little
No,
triggered?
no, I
We
just
a
got
little
to
triggered
couch
over
this. I got to couch this. Don't take that bath until y'all get that ring
Till
on
you
there.
get that discipline,
yeah,
too.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Discipline.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Discipline.
You're going to make me lose my license. Listen, she's talking to married people. It's different, a heightened level. Thank you.
And let me say this. I'm
Yes.
also talking to unmarried people because
Don't get in that bathtub.
If you
don't
have,
y'all get in that bathtub.
listen, if you have the true essence of discipline,
Yeah, no, they ain't got it.
but there are some men that do.
Yeah.
And let me go further, because a
They
man
must
who
teach Tai Chi.
because you're supposed to save your chai tea,
Yes.
which is really your sperm,
Yes.
until you're doing something that's productive,
Yes.
fruitful, and
Get
will
in-
multiply.
Get in the tub with a bathing suit on. Don't just get in there.
Let me say this, ladies and fellas. Let me say these, ladies and fellas. A man who could bathe with you and be disciplined enough to not touch you is a reassurance for you. I did that
Don't
with a man.
test it.
I did that with a man. Listen, I don't listen
test
to
it.
Pastor Bryant. Okay,
Gentlemen, don't play with it.
Pastor Bryant is
You're going to mess up.
Listen,
This uncredentialed, uncertified professional.
But the thing is that you platformed her. But the only reason why you are now coming back and wanting to say that, oh, you're bringing correction and all of that is because now all of a sudden it's not popular anymore. Now, anyway, I'm not trying to dwell too much on him, but I looked at that and I said, he really is a poster child of what I'm seeing today. It's this, what I see within what we call the black community. And it's this one thing where you will promote something until it's not popular anymore. And then you'll just immediately throw it under the bus. Because again, it's like, no matter what, you're going to find some way to adjust and adapt. But not only that, you yourself are the biggest hypocrite on that. Because you literally got a whole line of baby mamas all over the place. You got a whole line. I hear what you're saying, bruh, but you got a whole line of baby mamas. And this whole thing of, the license and, you're going to, messing up with the license or versus no license or whatever. But did that license prevent you from showing up at your own, your own court hearing regarding your child and child support? Did the license prevent you from doing that? Or were you just had some other things to go? Do you see what I'm saying? In other words, it's like you want to bring correction, but you stink. You ain't even a standard. And one of the things I keep hearing, and it's just I get so tired of hearing it, is we're the originators, we're the foundation, we build everything, we did this, we did that, and I hear it every day. And my response is always the same. Okay, well, what do you own? What do you own? What are you doing with it now? Well, we developed the elevator. Okay, well, what building do you own now that has an elevator in it? Okay, I'm not saying, nobody's saying that that's not significant, it's something of note or whatever. But bragging about things that you did, it's no different. Like I said, again, it's no different than a slave bragging about the fact that, we sold together those curtains in Master's plantation house. Okay, but you still a slave. And we think that by claiming everything that somehow that's empowering, but no, you're not. You're still just as powerless. But you also, using that as some kind of like whatever, like you're superior, but you really makes you look more like a jackass. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm looking at this, and I was looking at him, and I was like, this dude has literally no moral standing at all to correct anybody on the topic of license. I mean, he has no standing at all, but yet he continues to get support. And I just thought that was really, really something. I don't know. That was just one of my passing thoughts for this week when I saw that. Now, speaking of church, particularly the black church, I did come across another video that I found to be quite interesting. This was an investigation that took place. And let me just set it up for you. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, and I've said this in other videos, you know how I said that in the church should be categorized, the black church should be categorized as a black female, a black feminist LGBTQ organization. That's what it should be recategorized. Because as far as being an organization that can actually address the needs of straight black men, it is not a place for that. It's just not that anymore. It's not really a place for the whole family. It's not. It's a place that prioritizes feminist black women and gay black men. That's what it prioritizes. And that's just the truth. And with that being said, the black church has worked very close with the Democrat Party, which means they have access to a lot of things, right? Now, do you remember when they were doing that whole, it was a thing in Minnesota where the Somalians and, all the, the fraud that was going on. It was a gross amount of fraud that was going on where they were, the Leering Center. Y'all remember that? It was a school that they had set up. And it was supposed to have been called the Learning Center, but they misspelled it and called it the Leering Center. But there was so many millions and millions of dollars that's flowing through this community where they were just creating schools, creating all kinds of other things in the community that wasn't real. And what they was doing, it was taking this government money and they was shuffling over to Somalia and other places in Africa. And also, Democrats were using that as a slush fund. Well, you had this guy, I think his name is Nick Shirley or something like that, white guy that has a YouTube channel, whatever. Well, he did an on-the-spot investigation where he went to that community and he had his camera, he's asking questions, and they got exposed. And next thing you know, it's in D.C., and then laws are being passed, all that kind of stuff, right? Well, he also went into California where he showed the same stuff that was going on, even out there. Then he also went to New York and was going into the Jewish communities where they were also doing some of the same stuff. A lot of fraud that was going on. We've talked about that at great length, the amount of fraud that goes on in these Jewish communities, particularly in places like in the Northeast. We've talked about that. And so he had camera in hand, and he did his investigation. Well, they didn't like that. Well, it got so bad that the state of California just passed a law. And I think it's called, and like I said, I may be getting the last name right, but it's like the Nick Shirley law or something like that. But they just passed a law where they said that making it illegal for anybody to go into a community that in a community of people that is considered a protected class of people to do what he did, just simple civil investigation. Just camera in hand, and he's just asking people on the street questions. That's all he's doing. Well, the state of California passed a law where they're saying you can't do that anymore. Why? Because they don't want to get exposed. They don't want to get exposed on how a lot of these communities are used as one big slush fund for Democrats and for the black church. Well, check out this video here of an investigation that took place that I was just like blown away about. Take a look at this.
She moved fast to get past our camera. Deborah Hodges is one of the alleged fraud tourists. 5 Philadelphia church friends who heard stealing from Minnesota Medicaid was easy money. Hodges ran a company called House of Heroes. It was more a house of cards, according to a federal indictment that claims she was falsifying records as part of a scheme to defraud the Housing Stabilization Services Program. Despite billing millions, she got a court-appointed attorney, and when told to show up to court, she claimed she is without the funds to accomplish that travel and wants the U.S. Marshals to cover the cost. While pleading poverty to the judge, Carol Levin uncovered records where she brags about having real estate everywhere. Businesses in Ohio, California, and Pennsylvania, and homes and commercial rental properties throughout the United States. Her alleged co-conspirators are a Chanel suspenders-wearing pastor, a Christian university president with his own flair for fashion and fancy rides, a Essence magazine curvy model, and a missionary/Netflix actress. Hodges and co-defendant Cynthia Allen have done speaking engagements together about being business masterminds. Is she more of a criminal mastermind? A jury will decide. Hodges pleaded not guilty and is represented by a federal public defender. Another tab for taxpayers. I'm Carol Levin investigative reporter AJ Legault. Follow for more news.
You won't hear about that one, will you? You won't hear about that. But that's what's going on here. And unfortunately, guess who suffers from that? The taxpayers, you and I. But nobody's going to really talk about that. That's just what people do. I just saw something recently. The federal government now is about to go and crack down even harder. So if you are one of those out there that took advantage of the PPP loans, if you're one of those and you think you got away, well, there's a second wave that is about to hit where they're going to be going hard on everybody that were taking out these loans during the COVID crisis, the fake COVID crisis. They're going to be going after people. And I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a lot more exposure that's going to be happening. And I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot more, and I think a lot more black churches that are going to get exposed on this as well. So stay tuned for that. But I wanted to show you that because I just said, man, this is just really something. Church folks. But anyway, let's move on. And we're making our way to, which was the bigger story this week, which is the whole Carmelo Anthony thing. We're not going to get too deep into that, y'all. There's plenty of people talking about it and all of that, but it is a court thing in progress right now. And so a lot of people are already making decisions and conclusions and all of this other stuff. But I want to just show you some things that I came across that really goes back to the point I was making earlier about delineating, or I should say, deconstructing, from certain individual or just people who think a certain way. But I'm going to show you that in a little bit here. But anyway, the court case prior to this one that, of course, got a lot of people's attention within what we call the black community was the court case involving the young man who went into the convenience store in Columbia, South Carolina, with a gun in his person. And basically, long story short, he goes there. We've already talked about this. He goes there. The store owner believes that he was stealing something. Now, people hear that and they just assume that, well, he was just saying that because he was black. Well, we actually took a look at the crime statistics in that community, which is made up of majority black folks, and they are very high. We also looked at who are the targets of the crime. What's the top crime? And it's theft. And we also looked at who are the targets. It's stores like what this Korean man had. So it's very understandable that this man would be armed. However, we looked at, like I said, again, we're just going to look at it straight. In the state of South Carolina, it is not legal for a store owner to use a deadly force to protect his store. He cannot do that. But that is not what the court case was centered on. The court case was centered on what happened, what transpired. The store owner basically chases this young man out of the store because, like I said, they believed he was stealing something. They meaning both him and his son, right? And so during the chase, according to the son, he said that this, his name was Cyrus. That was his name. He's saying, according to him, that he pulled out a gun and was about to point it at him. That's why the son of the store owner, he raised his hands up like that. And he says, he's got a gun. He's got a gun. Well, the father who was in pursuit, he's already armed. And so when he sees this, he automatically does what any father would do, and that's shoot him, and unfortunately ended his life. And so, so anyway, and so from there, people, So anyway, so with the state law, so that's what the court case hinged on. It hinged on the fact that no, this wasn't, he didn't get killed because he thought he was stealing something. He got killed because it appeared that he was going to shoot his son. That's why he got killed. But none of that would have happened if this young boy didn't have a gun on him in the first place. And when I say young boy, he was 14 years old. He was found to have a semi-automatic weapon on him. But the parents and the supporters are out here and on social media land are all out here wanting to portray, they're skipping over that part and want to automatically call for a boycott of all Asian businesses. Out of all of this, they said we're gonna boycott all Asian businesses, and this is the big talk right now on social media. And if you're at a certain age, we've been through this for quite some time, where it will be said, it will be declared, and then a week later, everybody's back to eating chicken wings and fried rice, and getting their hair done and getting their nails done. It's just like it never happened. Do you remember that story? There was I forgot what state it was. It was a Korean-owned beauty supply shop. The store owner, I don't know what happened, the details, but basically the store owner, next thing you know, he is fighting this black female that was in the store, who I think my memory serves correctly, he thought she was stealing something, right? So he ended up in a physical fight with her. Well, someone captured that on video. And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Black folks get mad, and we're going to protest and all of that. Well, it wasn't. And so, of course, that's what they did. But it wasn't until like a week later, the store owner said, well, we're going to have a super sale. And the next thing you know, there was a line about as far as you can see of black people within the community that was lining up to go back into his store. So all of this talk about we're going to have a boycott, it's like the whole proverbial crying, the boy who cried wolf. It doesn't work anymore. If you think businesses and stuff, you think they are scared of that anymore, you've overplayed that card. The whole boycott thing, it's tiring. Nobody believes it anymore. And but it reminded me of a documentary that I heard about many years ago. Oh, this is about, we're in 2026. I want to say it was almost, this documentary is probably about almost 20 years old, if I'm not mistaken. This was back in the day when I was just doing blogging. I was blogging in those days, and I came across this documentary about a group of black people who got together and they formulated a organization of black beauty supply owners. Of course, that made me very excited because I was like, wow, finally people are starting to get it. And I remember the way I found out about it, it was through social media really wasn't what it is today. I think it was like through the news wires. I was like subscribed to a news wire or something. I came across it, and man, I was so excited. I was just broadcasting it wherever I can go on my blog and letting people know, hey, you guys need to check out this organization. These people are on the right track. And I think I actually communicated with them at one point. I don't know what happened to that, but anyway, he did a update to that documentary that he did. It's here on YouTube. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually watch it. I want you to watch it. Let me see if I can find it here on one of my windows here. Let's see. Here is this part 2. Okay, let me get to part 1.
This is an update.
Okay, hold on. Let's get to part 1. And we're going to watch it. It's short. It's 10 minutes apiece because he has it broken down by part 1 and part 2. Very interesting. And for those of you who want to, I'm always like, listen, you do whatever the heck you want, but get off the merry-go-round, do a little research, because you're going to find that this has already been done and talked about many, many times before. But I want you to take a look at this because the other point too is that I was bringing up to some people this week is, okay, you're going to shop exclusively at black-owned beauty supply shops. you do know that black-owned beauty supply shops still get all of their stuff from the Koreans, the very people that you're trying to boycott. They're still getting it from there. Did it enter in your mind, manufacturing? Anyway, so let me bring up this documentary here. And like I said, it's very short. But it's an update to a much longer documentary he did. But I want you to see this part here. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Where did I put it? Oh, no, I didn't copy it. Okay, hold on. Copy, let's paste it here. And let's take a look at this. I think you guys will really enjoy this.
This is an update to my original Black Hair documentary. The Black Hair documentary established the Korean takeover of the black beauty supply industry and how a group of African Americans were inspired by the film to create BOBSA, the Black-Owned Beauty Supply Association. Their goal? To take back the black hair industry and keep the African American dollar in the neighborhoods in which it's spent. Now, here's an update to the original film. It begins in Atlanta, Georgia, where members of BOBSA, Black-Owned Beauty Supply Association, attend the nation's largest black hair expo. It's here that BOBSA wants to educate people on the need for black-owned beauty supply stores. Me, I'm heading there to document what they're doing and to see if the Koreans have a presence at this prestigious show. BOBSA members give out information, hats, and copies of my Black Hair documentary.
How you doing? I'm from BOBSA. Pleased to meet you. Yeah. I want you to get in touch with me. Call me maybe next week. Okay, fine. Call me. I will. I want to be a part of what you're doing. Yeah, I will. I'll call you. I want to be a part of it. Oh, yeah, you are a part of it. All right? Okay. Don't forget. Call me. I won't. I'll call you.
What about the Korean presence? Do they have a grip on this convention? It looks like they do. In an effort to see how far the Korean influence spreads, I traveled to Houston, Texas, the Sunnyside district. Yes, black cowboys.
Houston, Texas, y'all.
Houston, Texas. All the way.
In front of a Korean-owned beauty supply, no less. And the story is the same here as I've discovered across the country. In a neighborhood that needs black jobs and economic development, with some of the biggest retail business and growth, black beauty supply stores, none of which are owned by African Americans. And it looks like hair is very big in Texas, very big. It seems to me there's like 8 beauty supply stores in these 3 blocks.
Well, we've been in the business 22 years, so.
23 years?
22.
22 years.
Oh.
Are you in the hair business, sir?
I'm preparing.
What is his story?
He's gonna open the beauty salon, beauty shop.
Here in Houston?
Yes.
Are you helping him get it together?
Yes, it's my brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law?
Right.
And how long has he been here from Korea?
1 month.
1 month.
Yeah.
When do you expect his store to be open?
Next month.
Next month? But what happens when African Americans do open a store? Does the community support them? And how do the Koreans react? The story, it's quite simple. There's been a black beauty supply store at this mall for over 22 years, and 3 years ago it was purchased by Rhonda Jones and her husband, who mortgaged their home and bought this black beauty supply store from its original owners. Less than 6 months ago, a Korean-owned beauty supply store opened up 6 doors away in the same mall. And they opened up how close to you?
About 6 doors away. Between 6 and 10 doors away.
And when did they open up?
They opened up the beginning of this year.
The only reason I think that they opened up next door is because Rhonda, this store has doubled their business in the last year. She started running radio advertising, and they got word that she was doing a fantastic business out here. Before, they didn't even worry about it. So I think that's the reason that they decided to come out here.
I feel like they came here to this area to benefit from the reputation and clientele of this store. That's what I think. Yeah.
In an effort to educate consumers, Rhonda's been giving out copies of my documentary, Black Hair, more than 2,000 copies of the DVD. I go over to Ebony's Beauty Supply, and it turns out that the owner has seen the movie also. Why did you decide to open up 6 doors away from L&L? I mean, why did you choose this location? I mean, why did you choose to do that?
I want to know that you are Black Beauty Association works you make today?
I'm a documentary filmmaker.
Documentary
and I'm
whatever.
filming everything.
You make a PMB Association some CD like that.
Have you seen the documentary Black Hair?
30 minutes. Yeah.
Yes, that's my film.
You read this.
What is this?
You think this is a pen?
What is this? Let me take a look here.
They're gonna do just a week ago. Try to 3 young lady.
Let me pause it so you can read it, okay? So, because it comes pretty quick there. I'll read it for you, okay? It says, please support Black-owned businesses. Sounds familiar, don't it? As members of the community, we support Black-owned businesses and are asking you to do the same. We need you to recognize that other cultures support and prioritize their own businesses, sometimes exclusively. We must put the same effort into supporting our businesses if they are to thrive. Be thoughtful and careful where you spend your money. The black dollar is something so powerful, oh so powerful. And with our collective dollars, you and I can make an impact. And what he was saying was they printed that out and they was handing that out, I guess, in front of his store. That's what he was saying. So I just wanted to pause it because they show it so fast. I wanted to make sure people saw it.
Hiding to outside, this provided this my customers. Into the customers, they're gonna give it to this one. What do you think, this one?
I don't know.
Even I can do, you say, you Korean guys, bad guys, like make a film like that? No, man, we are working hard. My older people are more working hard. They build up the business right now. That's why they want to get the all 90%, whatever you DVD told them, 90%, 99% doesn't matter. They are all lose life, all lose, family. They don't have time. They're not gonna enjoy anything. Just that they are working for the new generation.
Someone has tried to set fire to Ebony Beauty Supply.
Now listen to this.
3 times in the last 6 months. Vicksburg, California, the police department. Sam Enan, president of BOPSA, arrived for an interview with a fire department arson investigator to discuss the situation at Antioch Plaza.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be cleared up.
Did you expect any, violence to accompany BOPSA? I mean, is this something you thought might happen, that people would react violently after watching the video?
Not really. It's more economics than anything else. We want to enlighten the black community economically.
Mr. Annan?
Yeah, right.
Come on, back. I'm Investigator Martinez.
Right. Eddie.
Hi, how you doing, Mr.
He's
Annan?
a board member of BOPSA.
Okay, hi, Mr. Annan. This is just strictly an interview with me and you.
Okay.
I don't need to talk to anybody
So
out
you
of-
don't want any?
He doesn't need to come
Okay,
in?
that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Can I come in?
No,
with
you can't.
Can I talk to the detective that we spoke to this morning?
If he's here, you can ask.
My name is Lieutenant Brian Addington. I'm with the Pittsburgh Police Department. We are investigating a series of arsons that occurred on Atlantic Plaza. The first one occurred on December 9th, 2005 at Ebony Beauty Supply. We had another one, attempt arson, that occurred on January 9th, 2006 at Ebony Beauty Supply, and another arson that occurred on January 19th, 2006 at Radio Shack, right next to Ebony Beauty Supply.
So this is where the fire started?
Inside, no, starting it, see?
That's where the fire started, huh?
Yeah, over there.
It is an ongoing investigation. There have been 2 arrests that have been made. We do have additional suspects, but being that it is an ongoing investigation, we're not going to comment any further on any additional witnesses that we may have or reasons why we would interview them.
DVD, films, police got that.
The police have surveillance camera?
Yeah, camera, DVD. I made it.
So they, you were able to see who did it on camera?
Right. So, that's how police catching.
We're not going to comment on the source of evidence. The case has been reviewed by the District Attorney's Office, and criminal charges alleging arson have been filed by the District Attorney's Office against both those 2 individuals.
Okay, let me continue.
Oh, they want to know what the connection with BOPSA and L&L. And L&L is a member of BOPSA. Evidently, Rhonda's husband has been arrested. He's still under investigation.
So the husband of that black woman was the one that tried to set fire to the Korean shop.
Is that a dumb thing he did if he did that? I mean, huh? Right here. That was dumb if he did do that. I mean, that don't make any sense. I didn't know he was that kind of street.
Now, I was just at the police department interviewing them, and they actually mentioned that your husband is a suspect. What do you think about that?
I think it's ridiculous.
It is.
It's ridiculous. That's what I think.
Is there anything you have to say about?
No, I'm not going to say anything. If my husband is a suspect in a crime, who is a person who's never been arrested, never even been in a police car, of course I don't have anything to say about anything like that. I mean, that's very serious. That's very serious. And I would, of course I don't have anything to say about that.
Members of BOPSA visit Ebony Beauty Supply.
Did you say you cannot open business picture?
No, I didn't say that. No. I didn't say that. No, I did not say that.
Okay, whatever.
No problem. No, but I didn't think you were going to come right here, because my friend was over there, and then he moved over here, and then now he's over there by Food for Less.
Streets,
huh?
How much streets? November 1st,
Yeah.
three times
Yeah.
set on the fire inside.
Yeah, but I didn't know anything about it. I really didn't know anything about it until I came over here and saw you. What you guys did, when things calm down a little bit,
okay,
we'll talk. Okay, because it's not worth it.
All right.
When you agree? Don't give me a hand. Give me a handshake, Rick. Come on, you do better than that.
BOPSA creates a forum to discuss the challenges of owning black-owned beauty supply stores here in the United States.
One of the key factors that we've missed out on is our consumer base. We gotta get our people to consciously turn and focus in on what is needed for economic revitalization.
I remember that I can make as much money with as many products as I can make, and it never went through anybody but black hands. It went from to black distributors, to black salons, to black clients, you know. And I never had to even see an outside dollar, and was happy with it. Now, if I don't sell to Koreans, you know, my kids not going to college. And if we had more black distributors, more black beauty supply houses, that would solve a big portion of it.
Yes, we can. Make a difference. Make a difference.
Later on that evening, BOPSA has its annual Unity dinner.
United we stand. United we stand. Divided we fall. Divided we fall. We are united. I thank you and consider the Black Dots connected.
Anyway, I'll just stop it there. But BOPSA is still, their website is still up, so they're still doing something, But yeah, so these are people who have seen. So here you have one of their members, unfortunately, was caught by the police, basically setting fire to the competition, literally. And so, obviously, the reason why I wanted to show that too is because I want you to see that this is a discussion that's been going on for a very, very, very long time. But unfortunately, the Achilles heel when we're talking about black beauty supply products is that a majority of them are manufactured in Korea or in China now. It's really China now that's really taken over. And so when you're talking wigs and weaves and stuff like that, as of right now, you don't have that kind of manufacturing going on here in the United States. That's mainly coming from, China and then Korea and all of that. So, so that's why I'm saying the boycott only can go but so far. But, these individuals, at least they were on a right track. But you see what happens when you don't have the right acumen and you just decide, okay, screw that. I'm just going to set fire to their business. It's like, anyway. So I wanted to show you that, look it up as BOBSA, BOPSA. All right. Beauties. I think it's Black Owned Beauty Supply Association. I think that's what it stands for. So check them out if that's something of interest to you and all of that. But I want to, I always try to give people history behind stuff. And then so you can see that we've been this way before, And so my opinion, as far as like the whole Asian thing, we're going to boycott. It's not going anywhere. It's that right there is not going to go anywhere. And what I'm also seeing is a lot of Black-owned beauty supply shop owners that are getting on TikTok and getting on social media now, and they're taking advantage of this wave. My personal advice to you is to be very careful of that. Be very careful of that, because just as they came in, there's certain, you got to ask yourself, what kind of clientele do I really want? Because those will be the same people that will be looking for things in you and will call you out. I'm just saying, as someone who's seen it and has experienced it, I'm just saying. So you want to be very careful of that, okay? It sounds good on paper, but listen, there's a lot of history that, you need to pay attention to on that, because we've been around this road many, many times. All right. Let's move on. As you know, let's get to the main topic. Again, big shout out, as always, to everybody that's here in the chat. Everyone, I'm so glad that you guys are here. Really appreciate that. We're going to get to the final thing here, and that is our reality check. I'm just going to call this portion a reality check. Because there are a lot of things that are going on. Of course, we know about the Carmelo Anthony thing going on, but I do want to show you. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Staying on this topic that we were talking about in regards to the, we're going to do a boycott. There are people, one of the things that people were doing was that they said this boycott that we're going to do. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to call Chinese food stores, Chinese food, restaurants, and we're going to order a bunch of food. Well, I'll just play it for you. Let me put it on the screen for you. And I want you to hear it.
Yes, can I order? I would like an order for pickup.
Okay, what would you like?
I would like 5 of your sesame chicken and orange chicken with lo mein dinners.
You want an orange chicken, sesame chicken?
Yeah.
Orange chicken, one of the sesame shoulder chicken wing. Okay. Anything else?
2 large lemon.
The total $94.47.
Okay, that's a good deal. Okay.
What's your name?
Cyrus.
Yeah. Can I have a phone number?
Yes. 903
281
281
330.
No, 281. I'm sorry.
Where are you from?
That's okay that I'm not in
That's
Sherman.
my phone
That's
number.
my cell phone number. I moved here a couple years ago.
Anyway, so that's what they're doing. And there's another video that I found too, where they're literally, you got some people out here that are crazy enough and they're doing this kind of stuff. This is their reaction to basically what happened in that court case. We're just going to start calling Chinese restaurants and we're going to place large orders and we're not going to pick them up. That's your reaction? That's your adult, mature reaction to a court case where you didn't agree with the outcome? Is by doing that childhood stuff? Oh, it gets worse, y'all. I got a lot of stuff here, so I hope you got your stomach is still, because I have quite a few things that I want to show you of some of the stuff that I have noticed going on. It was that. Let me see if I could pull that up. Let me see if there was something else here. If not, I'll just go straight to the my screenshots here. I'll do that instead. I'll pull up my screenshots. Give me just a moment here. That is going to be from my phone, so that's going to take a minute. Let's see. Here we go. Give me just a moment here. Oh, the crime stuff. That's right. Let me do this instead. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Sorry about that. And then I'll get to those screenshots. Hold on. Let me get to. We're just gonna go right to my to the community page. That's where we need to go. Let's go to the community page here. I'll just bring this up on the screen so you can follow along with me. Community page. Where are you? We're going to go to post. And there you go. And this is what I posted earlier today. And I made reference to Dr. Claude Anderson. And these are some of the things that just took place just in the last 48 to 72 hours. While we have what we call the black community that is rallying around Carmelo Anthony, raising up hundreds of thousands of dollars, this is what is going on right now. This was in Columbus, Ohio. There was a festival that's called the St. Catherine's Fun Fest event. And this is a festival that was supposed to run through the entire weekend, this weekend. Well, they had to shut it down because, according to sources, the news sources, they said between 500 and 800 teens, most of them, and I have a video clip, hopefully I can play it, most of them were black, decided to demonstrate what stereotypes look like. And so what they did is they showed up and just started fighting. And then a spokesperson of the church, the organization, they said, a lot of money has been expended before the event even started. So not only are we not getting the fundraising that was intended, but we're going to lose a lot of money on what has gone out. 11 kids were arrested. Do I have that video? Let me see if I can find a video clip of that, and I'll show you that. This was the St. Catherine's thing here, event. Was this it here? Let's see. Dang, I can't play the, hold on. Yeah, this is it. This is it. I can't play the audio, but I'll just I'll play the video here. Just so you can see for yourself. Now, this was in Columbus. Now, St. Catherine's, that sounds like it's Catholic or whatever, but here you got this church, you know, that was trying to do something, trying to piece something together to really try to do something for the community. And then you got these fool-ass people decide to get together, and we're going to fight. We're going to have several fights. And so this poor Catholic church, now they had to shut everything down. It was supposed to have been going on today, but they had to shut everything down now. And now they can't even do that. Now, that was in Columbus. Then we have in Toledo, Ohio. Let me see. Well, I'll click on the article for that. Hopefully, maybe they have the video on that one. Mass shooting at Toledo, same state, annual Old West End Festival. Another event that should have been a time where locals have been can just come together and relax has been destroyed by gunfire. Guess who? Black kids who believe that disagreements must be handled with guns and around people who have nothing to do with their disagreement. The result, 12 people were shot and 2 are in critical condition. This is the article here. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if there's a video in here, but I already told you. It's no need of me bringing that up. I pretty much told you what's that. But that went on. Mass shootings taking place, fightings taking place. Meanwhile, this same community is rallying around Carmelo Anthony. So we're not really focusing on that. If I saw that happening in my community, that would be a 911 situation where I would say, okay, y'all, let's sit down because that ends tonight. We ain't dealing with that stuff. When we see something, we're going to say something. There is not going to be any kind of code where we're going to keep the streets private. We ain't going to tell them and all of that stuff. No, sir. I will be right on the phone. Come get them. Come get them. But you remember what we were saying about the code of conduct thing? That's what I'm saying. So the code of conduct for this, what we call the community, is that this is okay. And on the other hand, the code of conduct is also saying we must protect people like Carmelo Anthony. But we're going to get into that in a moment. Does that match what you personally believe? This is okay for you to see kids out here running around doing this kind of stuff, shutting down a whole institutions where they would get together and people just trying to have fun and relax and have a good time with friends and family and all of that, and they gonna come in and destroy it, and you don't have anything to say about that? Nothing. Well, here's another video that took place. I didn't play the video. Well, I didn't connect the video, but let me get that. Where is it? It's right here. Now, this is a young lady that was on a MARTA train. Okay, it said I was disconnected, reconnect. Okay, so hopefully I'm back on. All right, so this young lady, she was on a MARTA train, and I want you to take a listen to her situation, her story here. Let me pull this up.
A man just got shot directly in front of me on the MARTA train station today. His blood is literally all in front of me. I've never heard gunshots that close in my life. All I could do was just get up and run to the floor, and when I saw blood, I screamed and my shot, and I got up and ran to the back of the buggy I was in. I just started thanking God, but pray for the man who got shot. He got on the train and wasn't even there that long, and the door didn't even shut, and as soon as he sat down, they shot him. I'm waiting on my Uber, and I just want to thank Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for keeping me safe.
Now, that just happened. That just happened on a MARTA train. Well, it was 2 days prior to that, and we talked about that. I think we posted about that, where another black man got on the train and just saw a black woman who's on her phone or whatever, minding her business. He pulls out his knife and slices her neck, and there's blood all over the place. There's no justice for that person. We got to come together as a community, and we got to protect these people. I don't hear any of that. This poor young girl, she's just getting on the train, minding her business, going somewhere. And then some fool comes out of nowhere, decides to pull out a gun, shoot somebody else, and then the blood from that splatters on her purse and on her person. But there's no cry for a justice for that. We don't hear the Tariq Nasheeds or the Professor Black Truths and the Black Authority and some of these other people out here. We don't hear them mentioning any of these stories. That don't even come up at all. But we got to protect Carmelo Anthony. Now, my quick take on that whole situation as far as Carmelo Anthony is concerned, he is going under the jail, okay? Period. That is not someone that I would seek to protect at all. Period. There is no, for someone to respond, this whole nonsense that I'm seeing on social media where people are trying to sell this claim that he was so afraid that he had to pull out a knife and no. If you're afraid, you're not going to dare somebody and to do something to touch me. You're not going to do that. Period. And not only that, there's a number of things that came out of this, that's coming out of this court case. One of which is the fact that I think it was 10 people that the state was able to get to testify. Most of them were black kids, black students who were there. And all of them are saying that he came there to basically start something. That's what they're saying. And they said that at least 15 times he was told to leave. Now, I know that in the other, there's other testimony that said that he knew somebody under the tent and all this other stuff. And so that's also a factor. However, this was not your team's tent. It wasn't. So they were telling you, you need to go. Now, anybody that's been in track or been in, any kind of sports and you're on the bleachers and all that stuff, now it is kind of free form a lot of times. If you know someone in another school, you may go there or whatever. But for the most part, you typically don't go to the other team's space. You just kind of leave them alone. But everything we're seeing that's coming out of this, even before the court case, is that this dude was looking for something. Especially when he was told repeatedly to leave. And I'm hearing with the Tariq Nasheeds and all that saying, you know, you can't Jim Crow your way. You can't tell people where to sit and all this other stuff. Well, you're not going to go somewhere intentionally to aggravate. You know what you're doing. Let's not be dumb here. Let's not pretend on one hand we're the smartest people on earth and all people need to bow down and kiss our feet. But at the same time, now all of a sudden you want to play dumb here. We know exactly what this was about. And so your reaction is this guy, one of the guy that unfortunately lost his life, supposedly he simply gently pushed him and was telling him, you need to go. And he even said, dude, I'm not trying to fight you over this. This is nothing. So Carmelo's response was, I'm going to reach in my bag, plunge it into your heart, and that's a wrap. So you went from 0 to 1,000 just like that. And you got these Negroes out here that are trying to sell the story, this nonsensical nonsense, trying to make it seem like, well, they were taller than he was and he was afraid and all that, as if they were sitting next to him. That's why the state just said, okay, we're going to have all these people testify and we done. Because it's a done deal. It's already a wrap. Now, you know, things could change. Maybe the jury may, say something. Who knows? But in any event, there is no way in the world that I would instruct my children to respond and to react that way. If they are putting themselves in a place like that, in a position like that, I would definitely tell them you need to go. Or let somebody know. You ain't got to prove nothing. It's just as bad as some of these people who get out here and the cop is telling them, hey, listen, I'm just trying to give you a speeding ticket and that's it. But instead of that, they get out here and they want to start arguing and debating about the cop for other things. Why are you pulling me over? And why are you doing this and all of that? And it's like and then you just take a whole situation and you turn it into something completely bigger. And then next thing you know, now you in jail. And we're telling our children, we're telling people that that's okay. That's how you're supposed to react. We're telling people that this is how you're supposed to react. If someone just merely touches you, you have every right to kill them. That's a severe mental disorder for anybody to think that that's okay. And the thing that really pisses me off about this is that the same ass clowns that are out here whipping up the crowds and saying that's okay, if they were in that situation, they wouldn't jump to that conclusion. They know they wouldn't. Most sane human beings wouldn't go that far with that. You touch me, I'm going to shoot your head off. No, most people aren't going to do that. Anyway, let me show you some of the things that's out here. Let me get let me see. Let's see which one. I'll start with this one here. These are just some random screenshots I took here of stuff that is being put out. Carmelo Anthony was standing his ground in a stand your ground law state. They can't even get the law right because that's not going to apply here. They put a crown on this dude. K means king. A means ambitious. R means resilient. M means motivated. E is empowered. L is legendary. Carmelo Anthony is legendary. O is original. Folks, these are real people posting this. I'll leave that up here because, yeah, hold on, let me see. And let me pull another one up here. Here's another one. This is the kind of stuff that's being posted. Who in their right mind would be cheering this? Couldn't keep his hands to himself, so he FAFO. That's you don't see any issue. You don't have any issue with that at all. Let me get another one up here. What was this one for? Let me see. Downloads. Hold on. Oh, okay. Here's another one here. Okay, here we go. Here's another one here. Carmelo Anthony did exactly what any black man should do if somebody's trying to his manhood. So someone's trying your manhood, you should kill them. That's what we're saying. He gonna beat this case and walk away a free man. Teach y'all kids to keep that racism, you know what, up their ass, because this ain't back in the day. Instead of everybody just getting alone and building a better world, we still got clowns to expect. He goes on. But this kind of stuff is getting tweeted and retweeted and retweeted and retweeted and retweeted and retweeted over and over again. Look at this. 1.7, over almost 2,000 people put a heart next to this thing, or this tombstone. This is the community that you want to associate. You associate yourself. You're unified with this kind of mindset. This is the kind of mindset that you're unified with. You don't see any problem. You don't have any issues with that at all. Let me see. I had another one here. Oh, yeah, here. I'll put that one up here too. Give me just a moment. There was a ton of them I had, and I just, here's one here. Black people murdering black people is the dumbest talking point that racists use. What? I mean, why would they care if we kill each other? Nigga, why don't you care? They tell us that they hate us, cheer when cops kill us, constantly tell us to leave and hunt us down themselves. Anyway. And so I have also, whatever. Let me see. Do I even, because it can be a bit much. And I know it could be a bit much. Let me see. I had something else here. Hold on. Give me just a moment, John. Let me see real quick here. but it's video after video after video after video after video. Let me see here. This is in. Oh, this just happened too. This is, so we're saying within the span of, I'll just say 72 hours, this happened in Chicago. Yeah, you need to see this one too. Yeah, this just happened too. I'm glad I took a second look because I knew it was something else. This just happened in Chicago. Take a look at this.
Chemistry Steakhouse here in Hyde Park is one of the first of many restaurants Chef Isaac Wavy Bradley helped to create. His family tells me another one of his passions was being a barber, and says he was doing just that before mass shooting took his life.
It's heartbreaking. It really is. And Isaac wasn't finished.
I remember when he first opened up this place.
Chicago's restaurant scene is now left in pieces.
So for me to be here without him, it doesn't seem like that's what it should be.
After the loss of Chef Isaac Wavy Bradley, who for years was one of its leading forces.
The community lost Isaac. We lost the future to restaurants.
And that tragic loss happened overnight during a mass shooting in the same neighborhood where Bradley was raised.
He was leaving from cutting someone's hair, from what I was told. And as he was leaving to go, shots rang out.
Bullets ripping through 51st and Wood in the back of the yards after Chicago police say 2 suspects approached a group and opened fire. Another man was also killed and 5 others injured.
I hear shots really bad. Last night was really crazy.
We started to work so well together and created brands like Lighthouse Whole Food Grill, Stussy's Diner, Chemistry, Soul Shack.
And his business partner, Eric Rico Nance, tells me the two were planning a big box store rollout for Bradley's so-called soul rolls.
Going to all of the Myers and the Krogers and Jewels and stuff like that all over. We were in our final meeting to finalize those things, actually this morning at 9 o'clock. But of course, we learned that he passed right before that meeting.
But his legacy is still left behind, though now in the hands of broken hearts.
Just walk with me. One more walk. One more conversation. Let me pick your brain again. Fuss at me like something. We don't get to get anything.
Crime Stoppers is now offering a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest of those responsible. In Chicago's Hyde Park, I'm Trey Ward, ABC 7 Eyewitness.
So this is what happened. Anybody going to do a whole video on that? They're going to talk about that. Is there a cry for justice for the people who took this man's life, who is really a true asset to for what it sounds like, definitely an asset to the community, someone that was really doing something positive, providing opportunities and creating positive space in the community. Is anybody going to, any call for that? What is an indictment against what we call the black community is that the government, the police department has to put up the money to convince the community to actually come and step forward to point out who did it. Because the community alone ain't going to do nothing. Because why? We ain't going to snitch. I ain't going to tell the cops nothing. But if the cops willing to come up with the money, then, you know, I might say something. See, here's the thing. As I said in my last broadcast, what we call the black community does not give a damn about these children. Hear what I'm saying. I didn't say black people, period, don't give a damn about their children, because there are many who do. But what I am saying is what this system, this grouping that we have called home, when I am saying this existing grouping, it doesn't care about black children. It doesn't. In fact, I will go even further and say all of this smoke and mirrors that we're seeing on social media, we got to protect. Oh, there was something else I want to show y'all too. We got to protect these children. We got to protect them. They don't care. They don't care. The young boy Cyrus, they didn't care about him either. See, as I said in the last video, it's the bullets of black boys and black girls, that the bullets that they take in, that's what makes them valuable in what we call the black community. else here. It was right here. This was the other thing I want to share with y'all. Because this guy here, I'm not, for the sake of time, I'm not going to play, but he has been making the rounds. He was standing outside the courtroom, the court case, and, you know, it was a bunch of black folks and white people or whatever got together, and they're all protesting on either side, you know, while the court case is going on the outside. And then you got people out there that, this is my moment, you know, I'm going to be a courtroom a reporter, except I'm not in the courtroom. Gee, I wonder why. But anyway, this particular guy was going around and claiming that I think he was worked at the school, right? And was claiming that he had some inside information about this whole situation, about this whole case. Well, as I said earlier, you can't do that in 2026. You can't be out here saying anything and don't think people ain't going to be checking. Because someone did, in fact, did a quick check on this dude here, and I'll bring it up on the screen. It's right here. Hold on. No, not that. It's here. Where'd it go? Oh, man, where did it go? I just moved it over. Okay, it's on. It is downloads. Okay, let me try it again. Anyway, let me see. For some reason, it's not showing. Hold on. Let me see. Let me try it again. Okay, let me do columns, maybe. Maybe it'll show up that way. Wow, for some reason, I moved it over. I'm looking right at it, but it won't allow me to bring it up. Anyway, this guy, here it is. Here it is. It's right here. I got it. Yeah, put it somewhere. There you go. This is him here. This guy is a sex offender. He was basically caught trying to have an inappropriate relationship with children. But yet he is out here trying to say that he's speaking for this child, Carmelo Anthony, but he himself is a sex offender when it comes to children. And not only that, he's also a preacher. He's a licensed pastor to boot. This is who you listening to. This is your trusted name in news. Listening to people like this. This is your trusted name. So what I'm saying is code of conduct, going back to what Dr. Claude Anderson said earlier, what I am going to continue to challenge you is on this, is that does the code of conduct that you have seen and observed in some of the examples I provided for you this evening, does it match your own personal code of conduct for you? In other words, do you think this way? Do you think it's permissible if someone just simply touches you that you can stab them, you can kill them? Is that okay? That you think that's okay? That's normal. That's perfectly normal. Like, it just, even after you've been told numerous times, hey, you need to get out of here. Do you raise your children and tell them, listen, you can sit anywhere? See, let's kind of play around with the scenario a little bit. That's like me and that's like if I was just walking at a park somewhere and there's a beautiful black family, they're having a cookout. And so I decide to go and sit with them. I don't know them. I just decide to go sit with them. And a family member too, they're going to be like, who is you? Who are you? And I tell them, don't mess with me. I'm just sitting here. Well, you know where that's going to go. It's going to escalate. They're going to be like, if you're not family, then this ain't your space. Now, the Reek Nasheeds of the world out here trying to say that's a ground for stand your ground. But see, notice how it changes when everybody's black. So this family is saying, hey, listen, nah, you need to get out of here. We don't know you. We got little kids around here too. You know, just leave. Well, you know, that escalates, right? And then the next thing you know, you got Unc. He gonna say, listen, I ain't playing with this. And Unc just simply says, listen, you gonna have to get out of here, and simply pushes him just a little bit. And then this boy comes and stabs Unc in the neck or in the back or whatever, or in the chest. You think that's justifiable? That's a justifiable way of interaction in your community? That's justifiable. If that's justifiable for you, then no wonder the community is where it is right now. It's ridiculous. It's simply ridiculous for us to be legitimizing the inability to listen, to choose your battles wisely, because now you're getting ready to go to prison. Was that really worth it? It was really worth all of that? It was really worth you doing all of that? That was worth doing that. But what really burns me up about it is that you have adults that are out here promoting that. Adults that should be saying, whoa, wait a minute. That's not how we shouldn't be acting like that. That's a bit too much. But Dwayne, they had an all-white jury and all that. Yeah, did you hear the part where one of the black people, they asked the black person, they said, what do you think about putting a black man in prison? And they were like, basically, I just don't feel, I feel a bit uncomfortable putting a black person in prison. What do you think, how you think that's going to, if you're saying that justice is supposed to be blind, do you think that was permissible? And then when we talk about a jury of, and I want to mention that too, a jury of one's peers, that doesn't mean that everyone has to be the same color. Okay, that's not what that means. When you say a jury of one's peers, legally, the legal term, what that means is that the peers are the people within that community, number one. Number two, it's people who have the same legal standing as everyone else. In other words, the person that's being accused, they are a human being, right? And they have the same legal protections as everyone else in that jury. That is your peers. The peers ain't, in other words, if the person is fat, it doesn't mean everybody in the jury box got to be fat. That's not what it means. You got to look up the legal term of that. But I came across people who were already mounting writing campaigns to the state attorney, saying that they're claiming that he didn't get he's not getting the proper hearing because it's not a jury of his peers. What? I'm trying to find that doggone video here. Shoot. This is a video that I went to. This is another video I went to show you. This was a video from the jury, someone who was in the jury for the O.J. Simpson trial. And y'all, it's so much stuff I forgot to show y'all. It's so much stuff. Let me pull this up. I didn't make this up, y'all. This is a real person that's been out here, pushing all of this stuff. White people asked Rosa Parks to move from her seat 15 times, but they never touched her. And then another one said that Carmelo Anthony is today's Rosa Parks. They literally took Rosa Parks out and put Carmelo Anthony there. Can you believe this? I don't remember recalling the part where Rosa Parks stabbed somebody. Maybe maybe that was an alternative universe version. I missed that one. But they're literally out here saying that he is the new Rosa Parks. Here's the video. I found it. Here's the video. This is what happens when you are going by the street definition of a jury of one's peers. See, nobody wants to talk about this part now. Let me bring this up here. Take a listen to this. This is years later after O.J. Simpson, the whole situation with the trial and all of that. Take a listen to this lady and what she had to say. She was one of the jurors.
Do you think that they're members of the jury that voted to acquit O.J. because of Rodney King?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How many of you think felt that way?
Oh, probably 90% of us.
90%? Did you feel that way?
Yes.
That was payback.
Uh-huh.
You think that's right?
So this juror, along with, according to her estimate, 90% of the people on that did the O.J. Simpson trial, they voted the way they did simply as payback for what happened during the Rodney King stuff. Does that sound like justice to you? That's the justice that comes out of your community. That sounds perfectly fine to you. See, this is the kind of questions that we have to keep asking ourselves. I'm not asking you to abandon your blackness, right? Nobody's asking you to do that. Nobody's asking you to abandon our rich history or anything like that. It's not that at all. In fact, I'm not asking you to abandon anything. Because if these kind of mindsets actually align with your personal belief, then welcome home. You're in your community. But what I submit to you is that there is, I believe, a growing number of people out here who are starting to simply say, you know what, that doesn't align with what I personally believe. I don't believe that we should ignore our own children who are terrorizing communities. I think that's something we should prioritize. I don't agree that you should just react by just, if someone simply touches you, you have every right to just stab them and kill them. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's another way. And then amongst other things too. On one hand, we'll talk about how much we love our black women and we got to protect them. But here you got a black woman on martyr, both of them in martyr, on the martyr trains. One got stabbed and killed. Nobody says a damn thing about it. Nothing. That's just another day in the community. Another woman, she just minding her business and she just happens to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Someone comes in, he shoots somebody else. The blood splatters on her. Again, nobody says a damn thing about it. There's nothing to be said about that. That is considered perfectly normal behavior. In the universe of your mind, is that normal? Do you see that as normal behavior? Because if that's normal behavior, then please stay away from me. Okay? That doesn't make me comfortable at all. And the last point is this, going back to what I said earlier, we all we got. You know how that's a common thing we say oftentimes, we all we got. And I said, no, the hell we ain't. Because it goes back to what I was saying earlier. The unfortunate thing is we built community based off of skin color, but we're not taking in consideration of the character of individuals. Just because we have the same skin color, that doesn't qualify you as we. Keep me out of it, because you still are going to have to get the whole read down before I let you into my space. I don't know who you are. I don't have any background on you, and I'm not going to assume. And that what goes back to something you remember I did a couple of videos where I was talking about, it's just really concerning to me. It's really weird that, you go some places and, you see another black person and they act like they don't want to see, not give you a nod or anything like that. And I was saying that what I've experienced here in California, in Arizona, well, thinking about it some more, that might be a good thing. Because I'm not supposed to be connected to everybody that looks like me. And maybe that's a blessing in disguise, quite honestly. Maybe I need to start thinking that way. You understand? So no, we can't assume that. I'm not saying don't go, I'm not going to go to any black event anymore or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is when we say protect your peace, that even means protecting your peace from people who look like you. And stop assuming that just because people look like you, that they have your best interests at heart. I can't repeat that enough. That is not true. That's one of the worst things we could have done, is to assume that. Your community starts in the home. That's it. And then beyond that, whoever it is that you can best link, you got a vibe with or whatever, that's who you connect with, and that's your community. But to just blanketly think that all black people no, we can't think that way, because it doesn't work. And the more we think that way, the more people are hating each other, disliking one another, and dying as a result of it. How is it all these videos that are uploaded, we're the one people that are constantly uploading videos where we are demonstrating to the world how much we hate each other? Is that normal in your world, in the world of universe of your mind? That's normal to you, to always show the world how much you hate yourself? That's normal behavior? Is that normal for you? Because if that is, then that's fine. That's your community, but it's not mine. And what I'm saying, if you're like me, it's okay to say that. It's time to say that. Okay? We're going to be exploring this even more, because there are some things that, decisions that are going to have to be made by some people. Some people may have to go, and it doesn't necessarily mean you got to move away to another country and all that. That may not be the solution for everybody. But as you notice, there are more and more black people that are starting to do that. Gee, I wonder why. Now, they'll talk about all these other reasons why they're moving, but when you listen to them, it's like, you can read between the lines. You know why. They're trying to get away from niggas. So anyway, it's time for us to be honest and to be real with each other, okay? And to be real with ourselves, okay? And that's what we try to aim and do here. But at the same time, and that is what fosters healing. So that's it. That's all I have for you guys. I have been on here long enough. Really appreciate it. If you have anything to add to this conversation, as you've been doing in the chat, I'm going to take a look through the chat here while I'm signing off. But if you can also add comments in the comment section as well, we'd love to hear from you and hear your thoughts on this as well. And I wish I could just kind of repost this stuff. One day I will. I'll get back to that other thing here. Let me see here. That's it. That's all. That's it. I'll take a look. I'll peek at this. But thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Listen, you take care, and I'll see you again next time.